Hey everybody, Gage here from Sharp. Super excited to have you with me for another knife-related video. Today's topic is Hokiyama Cutlery. This manufacturer produces for us two lines of knives, the Tosaichi line, both the Aogami Super and the Shadow line, also producing for us the Sakon Ginga line. We are briefly going to talk about the history of Hokiyama Cutlery before we get into the specifics on all of those knives. So Hokiyama Cutlery got their start in 1919 as a wholesaler of kitchen cutlery. In 1941, they developed their own manufacturing process and started manufacturing their own kitchen knives and agricultural tools. In 1975, they developed the roll forging technique, a technique that they use to this day, which allows them to produce a high number of knives using the sanmai technique. Roll forging is a really interesting process. Two giant wheels sit very close to one another. A piece of steel is inserted into those two wheels and it sort of like smushes the steel into shape. This is a great technique because it sort of imparts the hammer forging benefits of a knife into these roll forged knives. So they are able to, again, produce a high number of knives with really high quality steel and heat treat. Although these knives are roll forged and stamped, many of the processes are still done by hand. So all of the grinding and sharpening is all done by hand. The handles are fixed onto the knife by hand, of course, and all of the final polishing is done by hand as well. So there's still a lot of love and passion that goes into producing these knives. These are a great option for anyone who's looking for a really great bang for their buck and isn't super worried about their knife having a lot of soul put into it. Although, like we said, there is still a lot of passion imparted into these knives. So the first brand of knives that Hokiyama Cutlery produces for us is known as the Tosaichi brand. We carry three different lineups of knife in the Tosaichi brand. Those are the Tosaichi Aogami Super lineup, the Tosaichi Shadow lineup, and the Tosaichi Bright lineup. All three of these knives have the same steel composition. They're made from Aogami Super with a stainless cladding, which means you'll notice a faint wavy line close to the edge of the knife where the layers of stainless steel on the outside of the blade are coming to an end, and only past that point is their carbon steel exposed. This means that you must keep the knives dry and clean and wipe them down immediately after use before they leave your hand to go down on the board to avoid any rust or discoloration. If any rust or discoloration forms, not a huge deal. It's not damaging to the knife if it's removed in a timely manner, and not damaging to you or your food, and can be quickly and easily removed just by wiping it down if you catch it early enough, or using a rust eraser, which we carry here at the shop. So the first lineup of knives in the Tosaichi brand is the Aogami Super lineup. These knives have a beautiful magaki or polished finish and feature an octagonal magnolia wood handle with buffalo horn ferrule. They have really nicely sanded down choils, are very thin at the spine and very thin behind the edge, which really contributes to a very comfortable feeling knife and one that performs at a very high level. It should be noted that because of the thinness of these blades, they are a little bit more prone to chipping than some of the other stuff that we have in the shop. So if you're looking for something a little bit more resilient, you might consider going with the Tosaichi Shadow lineup. This being the second lineup that Hokiyama Cutlery produces for our Tosaichi brand. And they differ from the Aogami Super lineup in that they have a kurouchi finish, otherwise known as a blacksmith's finish. They are also a little bit thicker at the spine and a little bit thicker behind the edge. So again, like I said, if you're looking for a knife that's a little less prone to chipping, the Shadow lineup is a great way to go. They too feature an octagonal magnolia wood handle with buffalo horn ferrule. So the third lineup that Hokiyama Cutlery produces for our Tosaichi brand is the Tosaichi Bright lineup. These knives feature a tsushimi or hand-hammered finish. They are made from Aogami Super with a stainless cladding and are the only of the three lines with a western handle, which is made from black paca wood and features an integral bolster, so you can rest assured that no food or moisture is going to get into these handles, though we would not recommend putting them in the dishwasher. They are relatively thin at the spine and relatively thin behind the edge, so they're not the chippiest knives in the world, but certainly not the most resilient knives that we have either. Now we're moving on to the Sakon Ginga brand. Within this brand we have 3 lineups of knives, all made from the same steel, all of which have the same finish. So that steel being Ginsan or Gingami or Silver 3, which is a stainless steel said to be the closest stainless steel to carbon steel. What this means is that you're going to get excellent rust resistance, really good edge retention, and very easy sharpening in comparison to most other stainless steels. The finish on these knives is called nashiji, which is meant to emulate the skin of an Asian pear. Like I said, all 3 of the lines we have in this particular brand have the same steel and finish. The only difference is going to be the handle that's put on them. So the Sakon Ginga with bolster has, as the name implies, a Western handle with an integral bolster. The Sakon Ginga Octagrip line is a Western handle with nice brown packwood, but with no integral bolster. And finally, we have the Sakon Ginga Zelkova line, which comes with an octagonal handle made from walnut with no ferrule. These knives are easily the most resilient knives that we have in the shop. So if you're really worried about your knife chipping or becoming damaged in any other way, these are a great way to go. Additionally, if you're purchasing for someone else and you're not sure about their maintenance habits with their knives, the Sakon Ginga lineup is a good way to go because you can rest assured that they won't chip easily and they won't rust easily either. The Sakon Ginga lineup of knives comes in many different shapes, including a 210mm Kiritsuke, Santoku's at 165 and 180 millimeters, Nakiri's at 165 millimeters, and Gyuto's at 210 millimeters, as well as a Tsujihiki at 240 millimeters. So in addition to being good for a home cook that may not have the best maintenance habits in the world, these are great for professionals who work in fast-paced kitchens and might not have a ton of time or brain power to put on maintaining their knives. Again, they're very difficult to rust and they come back to life really easily either on a whetstone or using a honing rod. So again, great for that professional that's working in a really fast-paced kitchen and just needs to be able to bring their knife back to life quickly and easily. We are very proud to carry Hokiyama Cutlery here at the shop. They are very passionate about what they do, and being in their 3rd generation of knife making, they've learned a lot over the years and of course developed their own techniques to producing really high quality knives for a great price. So if you're looking for a really affordable but beautiful and high performing knife, the Hokiyama lineup of knives, including the Tosaichi and Sakon Ginga brands, is a great way to go. If you have any experience using these knives, maybe you've picked one up from us in the past, or maybe you have a friend or a colleague that works with one, leave a comment down below and let us know what you think about these knives. If you have any questions about the knives that we didn't touch on here in this video, make sure to leave a comment down below and we'll be sure to answer you as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to slice that like button and subscribe to our channel for more knife related content. And until the next video, stay sharp.